Call Halayim La Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Waha, Recha, Kwadash. All praises and glory go to you, Lord. Double honors and respect go to our apostles, bishops, elders, and teachers, the men of Great Millstone. To you I say Shalom. Salutations to the hopeful elect. It's your brother Amriah, and let's get into it. I heard about this article from a brother who does very edifying videos out of El Paso, Texas, Malak Rayat, okay? And I looked this article up myself, and it was about a black man who's been found hanging in an abandoned home. And there's some questionable motives behind this, okay? So as the article says, FBI asked to investigate death of black man whose body was found hanging in abandoned Alabama home. Now the questionable part is here in the smaller writing. It says the wife of Danaris Richardson said he had filed a lawsuit against Sheffield officers and believes his death was made to look like a suicide. Okay. And this is why I constantly tell Jake, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, the real Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Scriptures, that the so-called self-proclaimed white man, the nation of Esau, Edom, Idumea, Mount Seir, hates you, okay? Because the Bible has constantly warned that the so-called self-proclaimed white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, all right? And if her allegations are true, and this man was put to death to silence him against some lawsuit, those in authority who are supposed to be honorable, though we know the nation of Esau, Edom, the so-called self-proclaimed white man, has never been honorable, need to be held accountable, which we'll see if they will be, okay? As the judge is, so are his officers. As the king is, so are the people that dwell under him. And this is those who are in authority, the elite of this world, the ones that run shit behind the scenes. They're murderers, robbers, thieves, rapists. They're the worst of the worst. So their officers are no different. Goes on to say, and this is Danaris, okay, with his 3 kids. But it goes on to say, the Colbert County Sheriff's Office in Alabama is asking the FBI to investigate a case involving a black man whose body was found hanging in an abandoned home and claims from his wife that the death was made to look like a suicide. The Sheriff's Office requested the FBI's involvement in the death of 39-year-old Danaris Richardson, whose body was found in September, according to the Associated Press. All right. The Sheriff's Office did not immediately respond Saturday to a request for comment from NBC News. The FBI said it was aware of the death, but would neither confirm nor deny they were taking part in an investigation. The FBI is aware of the tragic death of Danaris Richardson and takes allegations of federal law violations seriously, which they don't. All of the alphabet, agencies in this country are corrupt, all right? They can be bought, they can be bribed. And quite frankly, they all serve a system of white supremacy to continue their dominance over the coloreds, okay? And not want to give justice or even investigate themselves properly, okay? Which, again, these are officers investigating officers. So we'll see how this comes, but they haven't been known to hold themselves accountable. The FBI reviews allegations of criminal conduct for their merit and conducts further investigation if there is evidence of a potential violation of federal law. So if they covered their tracks, this will all come to an end very quickly. Richardson was found hanging by a rope on September 28th at a home in Colbert County. The sheriff's office ruled his death a suicide, the AP reported, but his wife, Lee Ann Richardson, is not convinced he died by suicide, telling AI.com that she demands answers. And she deserves them, okay? This was made to, she says, quote unquote, this was made to look like a suicide. It is not a suicide, she told the news site. She said her husband filed a federal lawsuit in February against police in Sheffield, where they live, accusing them of taking part in an abusive behavior while he was detained in the Sheffield City Jail in 2022. The latest filing in the federal case was a motion to substitute parties with Daenerys Richardson's wife. A lawyer for the sheriff's office did not immediately respond to the request to comment. Colbert County Sheriff Eric Ballentine, hopefully I said that right, said according to AI.com, the police spoke to the other family members of Daenerys Richardson who said he had been depressed. Right, so they're already setting up the narrative. And we'll see again if this lady is going to receive justice on this side. But trust me, no evil deed is going to go unpunished. All right. The Heavenly Father sees all. His eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of man. So justice will come one way or the other. Goes on to say the DA's office ordered an autopsy. The body was sent to the Department of Forensic Science in Huntsville. The cause of death was suicide, Ballentine said. AP reported that Sheriff Ballentine confirmed the FBI accepted his request to look into the case, saying his department exhausted all resources in its investigation. Leanne told AI.com, or is that AL? No, it's AI.com, that her husband, who was out on bail on a drug charge at the time of death, had given his son some of his jewelry because he was going to return to prison to finish a sentence. He was not depressed, she said. Okay. And we'll stop it there. Let's grab a few scriptures on the matter and call it a night. All right. This is Psalms chapter 10, and I'll begin at verse 1. It says, Why standest thou afar off, O Yahweh? Why hideth thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. Right? They've set up all these systems and pits to oppress the nation of Israel in this country. And the wicked being described is the nation of Esau, Edom. All right? The nation of Esau, Edom, the so-called self-proclaimed white man, is the wicked, is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Verse 3, For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. The wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts, right? They are godless people, all right? Which is why you'll see them persecute this Jake in jail, who in no wise was innocent. This is not what I'm saying, but definitely poor. And they'll persecute him in jail, all right? He files a federal lawsuit and then allegedly hangs himself when it's looking like something more nefarious happened, all right? And this is what these people do. To silence him, they violate the laws of the Heavenly Father, all right? Verse 5, His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. And this is just an example of that, all right? You got a problem with how we did you, ninja? Well, they put him to death, allegedly, okay? And that's him puffing at you like, what are you going to do? Yeah, I violated your civil rights in jail. And if you say anything about it, I'll kill you. All right? That's how they puff at you. They have the sword as their blessing. They have this system on their side, this system of white supremacy. So they feel like there's nothing you can do against them. And they feel like the Heavenly Father is not going to take up this cause on your behalf, but they will be sorely wrong. Verse 6, He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. Wrong. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. Right. The so-called self-proclaimed white race, they some evil fucking bastards, man. And I'm sure this is a vision of what actually happened to this Jake, man, that we're discussing. Someone sat in the lurking places, in the secrets, waiting to murder him. And I'm not calling him innocent. In no way, shape, or form am I saying that this Jake was innocent. But no doubt, some innocent blood has fell victim to these Edomites. Verse 9, he lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. Right. That's what they do. All right. They set up traps and snares. They have devices, systems, pits, all of these things to persecute the poor. And who is the poor? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, the real Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Scriptures. Okay. Verse 11. He hath said in his heart, Yahweh hath forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. Arise, O Yahweh, O power. Lift up thine hand, forget not the humble. Wherefore doth the wicked contend, God? He hath said in his heart, thou wilt not require it. Thou hast seen it, for thou beholdest mischief and spite. To requite it with thine hand, the poor committeth himself unto thee. Thou art the helper of the fatherless. Break thou the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out his wickedness till thou find none. Yahweh is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his land. Right. The Heavenly Father is going to require it, man. He's going to require all of this blood that you have been shedding, Esau, Edom. All right. The Heavenly Father is in no wise is going to acquit you. This is Nahum chapter 1, verse 2. God is jealous, and Yahweh revengeth. Yahweh revengeth, and is furious. Yahweh will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies. Verse 3. Yahweh is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. Right. There's no way you're getting out of this unscathed. All right. The Heavenly Father is going to require that blood from you Edomites. All right. That's why it says prepare slaughter for your children. All right. That's why it says since you have not hated blood, blood shall pursue you. All right. The Heavenly Father is not going to acquit you at all. As for this Jake, you must remember, if you're humble, you have a better chance of receiving protection from the Heavenly Father. When you're not innocent, hey, anything like this can happen. This is Job chapter 4. And I'll begin at verse 7. It says, remember, I pray you, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? Verse 8. Even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. By the blast of Yahweh they perish, and by the breath of his nostrils are they consumed. Right? You don't want to be on the wrong side of the Lord's indignation. These type of things can happen, all right? And I do understand that in this system, a lot of you Jakes have your backs against the wall, so you feel like it's a lawless thing, a lawless time. Do as they do in Rome, right? When in Rome, do as they do in Rome. But you're supposed to remove yourself from the ways of Babylon the Great. You're supposed to remove yourself from the ways of Rome, all right? And go back to the old paths, follow the law, statutes, and commandments, because you're seeking the forgiveness of the Heavenly Father while also seeking his protection. And it's not going to come if you have dirty hands. You do dirt, you get dirt. This is Amos chapter 1, okay? And the Heavenly Father has promised us justice, all right? The children of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians. The Heavenly Father, Yahweh, has promised us justice against our enemy who has been over us, oppressing us, murdering us, robbing us for so long, okay? And I promise you, their day of reckoning is coming. This is Amos chapter 1 and verse 11. It says, thus saith Yahweh, and Yahweh whom you ignorantly call God. For 3 transgressions of Edom, the so-called self-proclaimed white man, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. Right? They have constantly had their folks on our necks. They have constantly been murdering us, spilling our blood for stupid reasons, as, spilling a couple eggs on the floor. All right? To buck breaking the men, to now they have us in this pit, this system of white supremacy, where they constantly keep you on the bottom while they live out the best of life. All right? And I was going to do a video on how long these devils live, man, because I watched a video and a lot of them were making it to their 90s, their 100s, while Jake is dying off in their 50s, 60s, and 70s if they're lucky. All right? Because they have taken all the best of the land while they poison you to death. All right? But the Heavenly Father told that because they did cast off all pity, and their anger tears perpetually, it is never ending, it never ceases, that he have kept his wrath forever. The Heavenly Father is not going to turn away their punishment, all right? It is going to hit home. We'll end out here in Ezekiel chapter 35. And I'll begin in verse 1. It says, Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set your face against Mount Seir, the so-called self-proclaimed white race, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against you, and I will stretch out mine hand against you, and I will make you most desolate. I will lay your cities waste, and you shall be desolate, and you shall know that I am Yahweh. Because you have had a perpetual hatred, and have shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, I will prepare you unto blood, and blood shall pursue you, since you have not hated blood, even blood shall pursue you. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that return. And I will fill his mountains, and mountains is synonymous with governments. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men in thy hills, and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. And I will make thee perpetual desolations, and your cities shall not return, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. Right. All right. And you should read Ezekiel chapter 35, very edifying. But the Heavenly Father is going to reward them what they have done to us times 2. All right. And with these elections looking like they're about to go left, all of these different build-ups to civil unrest, martial law, all these different things are coming, seditions and everything. I believe the Heavenly Father is about to make good on his promise against Mount Seir, the so-called self-proclaimed white race. So keep your eyes on these prophecies, and let's see how it plays out. Call halal la Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua for this message. Until the next time, Israel. Shalom.